Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today we'll be continuing our trek down the Harry Potter Miniverse Make It Mini Potions line with another capsule. So let's take a look and see what's inside this one, shall we? Really do not want to open it. Alright, so here's the capsule itself. Let's take a look at what's inside. Alright. Okay, so package. There doesn't seem like there's anything inside, so I'm going to open this very gingerly because I don't know what is in it. A spoon. And look! A knife. What was it in the books? You have to use a gold knife or a brass knife to cut up something. It was from the Half-Blood Prince. I can't remember what it was. So the packaging itself is the same for every single set. So it shows you a Mortentia, Polyjuice, and Veritaserum. That is in no way representative of what's actually inside of it. Some little chocolate doodads. Box. There. A little plate with golden filigree. Alright, so this will tell us what it is. This is not the right side. Sleeping Draught Cupcakes. This is a rare set from Wave B of this series. I wonder what makes it rare. I know with other Miniverse, the rare ones have something specific, like it smells, or it comes with something special, or there are more accoutrements. But I don't know what makes this set rare, other than the fact that they say that it's rare. Here on the back, you'll see the listing of all of them, and you've got all of the normal ones from Wave A of the series, and then all the way down at the bottom, you have Potted Mandrake, Dolores Umbridge Tea Set, and Sleeping Draught Cupcakes. So it's limited edition, all of these. Even here, it doesn't tell you what's special about them. Although this one just says rare, this one says ultra rare, and this one says limited edition. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just limited edition. They're not going to do Sleeping Draught Cupcakes for the next line or something. First, we are not going to do that. Another little table. I'm just going to have an entire classroom with nothing but tables. Tables! Tables are how I make my money. That was the same thing. Previous set. So we have cake icing. We have a little pouring. Another mortar and pestle. This one presumably of brass along with sprinkles. Alright, that just looks like it's it for this set. So let's make it! Okay, so here's everything we need for the Sleeping Draught Cupcakes. All lined up very neatly on the table. Looks like we're going to be doing some grinding. So let's do that first. Put the cupcakes over here and the icing over here, and we'll get everything all set up. I don't know what's magical about these, other than the fact that they are chocolate. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna have to do this in stages. It's too many little curls to do this all at once. I have to do this in stages, so let's... So at no point in the books is it really explained if the Sleeping Draught Cupcakes were baked into the cupcakes, or whether they were just cupcakes from the kitchen that Hermione sprinkled Sleeping Draught on. I mean, I really don't think... I was always under the impression that she just dropped it on top of the cupcakes, and Crabbe and Goyle are just so stupid that they can't distinguish the taste outside of sweet and chocolate. So, also, I'm not actually certain that the type of cupcake that they dosed is even brought up in the book itself. I think they just say there were some cupcakes and we put Sleeping Draught on them, or in them. Given the house elf situation at Hogwarts, I would hesitate to think that the Sleeping Draught was baked into the cupcakes. Where would Hermione and Ron and Harry have found a working kitchen in order to bake any cupcakes? I mean, Harry would probably know how to make a cupcake, but I'm going to assume that Ron and Hermione would not. And I don't think they could go to a house elf and say, "Hi, could you please put this in some cupcakes for me?" I think the more likely explanation is Crabbe and Goyle were just so enamored with the fact that they saw a floating plate of chocolate cupcakes that they didn't look a gift horse in the mouth, because that's just how ignorant they are. How they landed in Slytherin is anyone's guess. All right, this first batch looks pretty well ground up, so let's open up this canister and we'll start mixing directly. And since they are magical, there are no nutrition facts on this. The canister just says cake icing. So let's open up this cake icing. Alright, looks like there's definitely enough space in there for all of our mashed goodies to go in. So let's losing little chocolate pieces as we speak. So as I'm mashing this, Sleeping Draught is a controlled substance because prolonged use causes an internal toxicity, which is why Madame Pomfrey does not just give out Sleeping Draught willy-nilly. Okay, so we've done it the way that Miniverse asks you to do it, and I'm going to do it this way just to speed up the process. As you can see, this is a much faster way to get the result that we're looking for. The mortar and pestle is very cute. Do not get me wrong. I thought it was cute in the Potions classroom set when I was crushing those coloring iridescent pearls. But there's just no reason to do an entire flagon of these chocolate pieces that way when I could just crush them very simply like this. And as you can see, we've already made a very attractive powder. This amount of chocolate powder that we've put into the frosting container has really bulked up the amount of resin that is in there. So we've just got to mix this really well, and then we can start spreading. I need to worry about air bubbles with this one, but getting the white frosting all the way down at the bottom of the canister to properly mix is a little difficult. I think the difficulty would be the same if I was using the little spoon that they include to mix. Really, who wants to dirty their utensils like this, especially such cute ones as these? Toothpick it is. So as you can see, we're really getting a really nice color here. Now, in anticipation of this build, I took a couple of moments because of the debacle of the Hello Kitty macarons. I have never made a Miniverse kit that has included icing before, other than that Hello Kitty set, and quite frankly, that scared the bejesus out of me. So I just thought, knowing that this is the set I was going to do, I just took a gander to see how other people made it. And, you know, I understand wanting to keep some of your ingredients, but a couple of the videos and tutorials that I just briefly looked at, they didn't put enough into this icing canister. And so the resulting icing just looked gray. with little flecks of darker gray in it. And it didn't really look like chocolate. So I really want to make sure that mine look like chocolate. I mean, this is still kind of gray, but it's far more chocolatey than some others that I've seen, and about as chocolatey as I guess I would want it, considering we started with a white frosting. But no, I think we're ready to ice, so to speak. All right, so let's take a look at this adorable little box of cupcakes. It has the Hogwarts crest on it. I don't know why Hogwarts is selling baked goods, especially with their own little emblazoning on the packaging, but that's fine. It would make more sense if this was Honeydukes. Because we know that Honeydukes makes cauldron cakes, which are basically just cupcakes. So it just seems kind of awkward that they wouldn't have used Honeydukes, but c'est la vie. To be fair, in the books, there's no way that Hermione and Ron would have been able to source Honeydukes cupcakes, so it makes more sense for them to be Hogwarts. It just doesn't make sense for them to be in this attractive little box. So we'll forgive that for immersion purposes. Oh, look at those. Those are absolutely adorable. Look at that. They're not even chocolate cupcakes. They're just vanilla cupcakes. And they come in this cute little stand to make sure they don't get crushed in the box. Now, I'm thinking whether I should keep them in the stand while I ice or not. I think I will, just so it makes it easier to handle. But let's start icing, shall we? All right, so here are delicious looking cupcakes. Still don't know where the Sleeping Draught is within these, but that's fine. So, gotta take some of our sludgy frosting. All right, so I'm actually going to do 2 cures. One to make sure that this sets correctly, and then the other one to make sure that we've got enough coverage on the top. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to cure them first. All right, so let's just finish moving all these things around, get the shape of the crown correct, and then we will put our chocolate sprinkles on top. All right, so let's get messy, shall we? I mean, more messy than this has already been. So here we have our sprinkle package. Just says chocolate. There's no nutrition facts. These are very cute sprinkles. So let's make a mess, shall we? In the effort to not make a mess, just going to lightly press some of these sprinkles in so that I know that they're not just going to fall off as soon as I cure. All right, so after a long and laborious resin setting process underneath UV light, these are finally hard. The chocolate sprinkles severely retard the hardening process, the curing process, so Just bear that in mind. This took 15 minutes under the massive apparatus in order to actually be hard enough to touch. After 2 rounds, they were still very marshmallowy. You would just press, and the entire thing would just kind of squish. You could feel it underneath your hands. But now that they're finished, these little chocolate sprinkles are very firmly in the resin. I think they look pretty cute. They do still kind of look gray to me. I wish this was more of a chocolate. Chrissy brought up something very pointed, which was the vial that contained the chocolate coloring pellets was labeled with a magic seal. So I think for the purposes of the Miniverse Potion set, the Sleeping Draught is supposed to be in those little pieces. Sleeping Draught is a liquid. That isn't the entire point of it being called a draught, rather than pellets or powder or essence or what have you. Having the Sleeping Draught be in a solid form that then you need to crush and then put into the icing is strange, to say the least, but I think that was the thought process behind this particular set. Because the cake icing is very clearly just cake icing. And the cupcakes are clearly just supposed to be cupcakes. So I think the magical portion of this is the colorant. I don't agree with that, but I'm going to assume that that's what they were going for, and that's fine. That's fine. So our last step is to carefully take these cupcakes out of their carrying cardboard. Oh my God. Oh, lost one. So what we are left with is these absolutely adorable little cupcakes. They are fully set. Color-wise, like I said, I'm not really happy with the chocolate color. It did just turn out gray. But it is very sparkly, so I think that's where the magic is, if you really want to put too fine a point on it. The sprinkles are very cute. Lost one, but that's fine. It's my own fault. Very attractive, very cute, ready to be levitated in front of 2 complete dolts to get them dosed enough on Sleeping Draught that you can shove them in a cupboard and then use Polyjuice to infiltrate the Slytherin comic room. On the whole, I am very happy with the way these came out. Still don't understand why they are a limited edition set. They're really, aside from the fact that you actually have to make a food product, there really doesn't seem to be much of a reason behind it. Because this is just a usual Miniverse make it mini cafe diner kind of set. I don't know why this is limited edition, but it is quote unquote widely available everywhere. This particular one was not that difficult to locate. I mean, it was just in a whole batch of ones that I bought. So it was a brand new case at a Target, and lo and behold, here is the ultra limited edition Sleeping Draught laced cupcakes. Well, thank you very much for joining me for this episode of The Shelves Have Eyes. I have been Phantom. I had an enormous amount of fun making this food craft, as it is only the second food craft I've made after the Hello Kitty macarons. I have some misgivings about the Miniverse materials, mainly because the frosting really was less of a frosting and just more of a gluey liquid. Having watched Chrissy make all of the mini brands MasterChef sets, I was expecting something a little bit more like frosting. Like that weird caulking material that they seem to use for the strawberry cake and the chocolate cake. But what we got was your usual Miniverse gloopy resin. It is what it is, but I think this is very attractive. Easily, I would say the most fun I've had making any of the potion sets so far. I'm really looking forward to finding the Potted Mandrake and the Umbridge's tea set rares. This is just absolutely astounding that the first case of Harry Potters that I was going through happened to have the limited edition one. So, I've been Phantom. If you like this video, please think about subscribing. I'd love comments. How would you make this? Would you do this any differently? Do you think that this looks awful? Do you agree with me that the frosting is gray? Do you have serious misgivings about the way that Miniverse is handling the Potion series? You let me know in the comments. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Good night, y'all.